smoke detector and.
I think that's what they bought.
Oh, yeah.
That's why they are.
Yeah. I couldn't understand a fire department buying smoke detector.
You guys ready?
Yes, sir.
Where am I at? Or are we gonna share?
Microphone?
We gonna alternate? Hi, Chief.
All right, we need to elect,
Isn't yours next to you?
Favorite date's coming up, huh?
I would nominate,
My wife's
we only got one. Don't be nominated
I'll
yet.
need to go take it out.
Yeah, you can hear it. They're talking too loud.
I don't have much to say tonight anyway. I'll be dozing off
Jeff.
over there.
You promise?
I
Can I
heard,
nominate?
I heard
Jeff?
Gary's motion.
I would like to make a motion to nominate Jeff to act as town chairman this evening in the absence of Tom Bird.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. I'd like to call the meeting to order on March 15th, 2017. Everybody please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Supervisor Acting Chair Jeff Millies.
Present.
Supervisor Gary Wildy.
Present.
Supervisor Ed Moline.
Present.
Supervisor Bill Craig. Mr. Chairman, you do have a quorum of your board, and Chairman Thomas Bird has an excused absence.
Are there any public comments?
Mr. Chairman, I just want to let you know that the agenda was posted inside and outside the Vernon Town Hall, to the media, to the Town of Vernon websites. You're in full compliance with the open meetings law. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Are there any public comments? Hearing no.
Can we do a sound check? I said Joe 3 times. Did you hear us?
Pardon?
It's kind
Can
of.
you hear us?
You're coming through morphily.
Very well.
Yeah, distorted.
I'm fighting a cold, that's probably why.
No, it's something I'm not.
I just turned it up. I can't turn it up anymore. It's going to start squealing. Here it goes.
All right, we got announced possible closed session, consideration of possible action on a motion to convene an executive session under Wisconsin statutes 19.85, parentheses 1D, to consider strategies for crime detection or prevention for the town of Vernon facilities, including the closed session with the Vernon Town of Vernon supervisors, Vernon fire chiefs, and town clerk. Motion will require a roll call vote. We will do the closed session
After the meeting.
at the end. We'll move on to miscellaneous matters. Miscellaneous matters. Vehicle sharing agreement with the village of Waterford.
Chief?
Chief, you wanna?
Here, come on up.
For chiefs?
I'm gonna sit on the right side. Oh, come on.
You guys act like you're married.
Right there.
Does that mean Alex is on the wrong side?
Yes.
It's on.
Okay.
That one you got to kind of...
Better? Okay.
Let's see.
Bless you. Thank you.
All right, you guys all saw the
Oops.
Thanks.
vehicle shared ownership agreement. Are there any additional comments or concerns?
There was one item I brought up last time on this. I don't see it here unless I'm missing it. Was that the party responsible for damage would be responsible for the deductible amount? What, we're gonna add that verbiage somewhere in there? I don't see it in here now.
I don't remember exactly what you guys came up with. I know that we would be responsible for the cost of the insurance on the vehicle. They cover, if I remember correctly, the pump test and some other annual maintenance stuff. I think we had discussed that at that time that we'd probably work cooperatively to figure out who was going to pay that deductible. I
So
would,
we'd be willing to split the deductible, they're responsible, we think, isn't
what I would envision happening would be, a discussion between our command staff and their command staff that essentially who's involved would probably be responsible for that deductible from the standpoint that if your member was driving, got in an accident, and you did have, or would incur part of your deductible, then it'd be your responsibility. We've kind of talked about some of those things with their command staff in, you know, in the discussions we've had to say, these are some of the potential issues we would have, and I think we have a very good workable relationship with their staff, and I would not envision that being an issue.
You don't think we have to put it in writing?
I don't think so.
Okay.
This one agreement that we have with the green in it, is that the?
That's the one you looked at in closed session.
Okay,
Then you have a clean copy
and now, and then this is the cleaned up one, the next one after that is the,
with no green.
pardon?
With no
on it.
green?
That's the agreement itself.
And the green sections last time were what were her final changes from council from Waterford to say,
So
this is what.
we just want to make sure we're in compliance with Macy as well, which is 4A and 5A. Yes, we put 4 regarding command staff's agreement. We'll find it then.
Yeah, 4A,
4A and 5A.
yeah, right here.
What does he say?
4A says, and engine will be kept at Fire Station 2 in Waterford. If Vernon needs a vehicle for emergency purposes, command staff of the Vernon Fire Department, Village of Waterford, will determine how the engine will be shared or returned by each department based upon the need of each community. The command staff of the department will coordinate use for other needs such as maintenance issues and training. So that's agreed to, right?
Yes,
Then, when you talked about a need, it wouldn't be an immediate need, because you talked about having to swap out all the onboard equipment on a vehicle, right? So, I mean,
Right.
you'd have to give some notice of the need.
well, right, but we may have an instance where we have,
Vehicle down or something.
right, we have a vehicle or two vehicles go down, or we have maybe a large event going on,
Yeah.
or something that we can coordinate with their command staff, that we can ensure that process happens pretty quickly.
But that's still left between.
Yes, yeah.
And that
we-
agreement's
We have great.
in writing.
Yes, we have great communication between the two command staffs to say, hey, you know, we got this going on, we're gonna have a vehicle down, and all of a sudden we have a vehicle that we have another issue with. I make a phone call, in a half hour it's up there.
Okay. 5A, the second one, Mr. Macy asked about, was maintenance or repairs. It says routine maintenance costs, Waterford and Vernon will share equally all costs of routine maintenance, including but not limited to the annual preventive maintenance, service oil, and added grease and tires. The party that pays the invoice for the work shall bill the other party for its share. The command staff of the Vernon Fire Department, the Village of Waterford Fire Department will implement and facilitate the review of all routine maintenance and costs. Each party will follow the established ordinances and financial procedures of its governing body. And you, I think at the last meeting, you said they already did some of the maintenance on the vehicle.
Yes.
And didn't even bill you for it.
Right, right.
So I guess there is a good agreement going on there. I'd make a motion based on those items that were corrected to approve the agreement, which, is already in place pretty much,
And authorize the town chairman to sign it?
and authorize Thomas to sign.
Also,
No more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Advanced life support intercept agreement with the Wales Genesee Fire Department.
This is another, I guess, formality per se. This is the same agreement essentially with a change in names that we have with many of our other communities that we do intercepts for. Would have been last year, early last year, the town of Genesee opted to stop service with the North Prairie Fire Department and contract with the Wales Genesee Fire Department to cover some of their southern areas. Because of that, it created a need to have a paramedic intercept from a closer department than what they were utilizing, or what North Prairie was utilizing, which was Lake Country. So Wales Genesee approached us and asked us if we would provide coverage to the area that's to the southern part of the Genesee Township. And we've been helping them out on that for about a year or so, year and a half. Question came up about the billing parameters, and their billing company wanted to ensure that we had a site intercept agreement. Typical of every other agreement we have, we provide an intercept, our paramedics go to the hospital, we send them a charge for the intercept, they pay us, and then they bill the patient. So this is just a formality. It allows them to bill the patient for the ALS rate versus a BLS rate.
That split took someplace early last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Have we been running those since that time?
Yeah.
And not getting paid, or?
No, we've been getting paid. Yeah.
So this is just officially.
This is just to put a rubber stamp, but to make sure that we have an I dotted and a T crossed, and that we give them a vehicle to be able to officially bill a patient.
When I said to you, I just didn't remember what that was, how it worked, and that we had done something earlier with it apparently for someone else, and just copying over what we had.
And we only do a handful of calls every year. I mean, it's not a high volume thing.
Dollars a dollar.
But it does include the entire, the entire Wales Genesee, response area.
Yeah, but that's just part of our operational
Significant
plan.
large area, isn't it?
They contract with us and with Lake Country for paramedic intercept services. So that's just the way the contract's written, to say we cover your whole response area. It doesn't limit us. It doesn't say we have to do something. It
Who
just,
makes the determination of which department responds?
the fire chief of Wales Genesee.
Okay.
Yeah.
He calls the lake or?
Well, everything's prearranged, everything's on a map. We know what areas of their area we cover and what areas that Lake Country covers. But this is just so that, you know, if Lake Country would happen to be busy and we go out to the western end, it's not like it's, well, you're out of zone 4 and you're in zone 3, oh my God, you can't do that.
Now we can't charge for it.
Right.
They can.
Right.
Okay. Do they have any intention of increasing their level of service in the Wales Genesee?
We've loosely talked to them about it. They right now are very happy with the level of service they get from us, also from Lake Country. It's a tiered response, so I think it works well. They run at the EMTA level, which is the basic IV level, where they can give some very basic medications.
Mm-hmm.
And for their call volume, right now, they feel very comfortable with what we have set up as a system. I think it works really well.
Is your response time adequate for?
Oh, very good.
I mean, it's for a typical ALC car, you know, a real bad call. You know, you would think that that's a ways away, that might be a little bit of response.
Waterford, some of the calls were going
Okay.
to Waterford.
And we actually, typically in the southern end that we cover, that southeastern part of their township, because of the fact we have people in our station, in the first response vehicle, we typically do beat them to some of their calls. But again, that's because of the system we have set up, that people are here, call comes in, they go out the door right away. So the system works really well. We're always willing to help our neighbors that maybe at some point down the line, they may want to increase to a paramedic level. Maybe we look at doing like a joint credentialing thing like we're doing with some other communities to help them get their service established. And at the end of the day, then we have more resources for us all to use.
I have a question because I don't understand ALS completely. I know typically certain groups respond to certain groups. It's not nationwide, so to say. Is there a listing of who works with each other on not ALS, a shared, what am I trying to say?
Like a Mavis?
Well, the Waukesha County Fire Chiefs have an established mutual aid partnership
Mutual aid.
that has been in existence since I've been involved in Waukesha County Fire Service.
Are those two in our mutual aid group?
Yep.
So by being paid, we're just getting a benefit we would have had to do under mutual aid anyway,
Right,
correct?
right.
I think that pretty much says it all.
The 450 indicated on your page 2, that's for treating a patient at the scene, is it?
That's for transporting with them.
Oh, that is for
Yes.
transporting, okay.
Yes.
this basically the same agreement we have, with Waterford?
Waterford's is a little unique because we have some different credentialing things in there. But yeah, it's the same thing we have for East Troy, Big Bend.
Big Ben.
All the other
Kind of like
communities.
a standard?
Yeah.
Wasn't the idea of Waterford that eventually they'd phase in their own people if they ever got to that level?
Yes.
Whereas this one's,
This will probably be, work together for a very,
Long
very
time.
long time. I mean, we don't have a crystal ball to see what the future holds, but
but as of now, that's the
Right.
plan. Okay.
Is there a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to, agree with the advanced life support intercept agreement, and allow Tom to sign it, or whoever needs to sign it.
Authorize?
Authorize Tom, the chairman, to sign it.
I'll second.
The question, Mr. Chairman, do we have to run this past John Macy? Because
He's on-
according to his notes here, he's asking if we need to, but.
It's virtually identical to what we
It's
had before,
almost
right?
identical to at least 4 ALS agreements we have.
Why reinvent the wheel?
personally, I think it'd be a waste of money.
I agree. That's why I asked the question, just so that it's on record that.
I'd like to include my motion that we not run past, Attorney Macy.
Got it.
Don't
Made
blame
my
me.
second accordingly.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, do you want Alex or Patrick to answer any questions on the AP so they can go?
Well, we have the.
Closed session.
Oh,
Yeah.
did I notice them in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We won't be here that long, I don't think.
Okay.
Will we? I don't, that's not that much on the agenda.
Okay.
All right, moving on, ordinance 2018-02, residency requirement to serve on a committee, consideration, commissions, and boards, supervisor number 4.
Okay, the board had asked Karen and I to look at, but I should back up a second. The way the existing policy was, there was a reference to fire commission requiring a full-time resident to be appointed to the fire commission. However, that was not referred to in any other committees or commissions. So Karen and I were discussing this and decided to, I don't know, Karen, is it preliminary yet?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
just so you know, I drafted this, has no legal review whatsoever.
Yeah.
None.
And the verbiage that's in there now would head up from the very beginning, covering all commissions, committees, and so on, appointed by the board or the chairman, requiring full-time residency.
Adult.
And I think it's a good way to word it, because we have a lot of people who are seasonally here and seasonally gone too. So if we're having these committee meetings and someone's gone 6, 7 months of the year, that really won't help the committee a whole lot. I know we ran into that with DPW a number of times.
Right.
So the way Karen had it, I was just looking, I read my copy earlier, and now I don't, thank you. So Karen has it set up to,
We asked her to put a heading, you give her it down below.
Correct.
It looks like that's fine.
I took out the verbiage on the fire commission because it wasn't needed. I cleaned up the fact that I talked about Waukesha County zoning. We're not in Waukesha County zoning, and I did add the Board of Adjustments or Variance Board because it wasn't in there and is a standing committee. I took the liberty of doing that without, so I just so that you know, I did a little bit more than you asked me to do.
Now,
little bonus.
the only question I have, is in the attorney's comments, he said that the statement, the full-time resident needs to be defined. Is that something that we need to proceed with now, or is it something that we can?
It's my opinion, this is a law,
Yeah.
so typically you guys send it on to the attorney and he's gonna rip it apart.
Automatically, yeah, because you wrote it,
Right.
Says
and he
full-time.
didn't.
Says full-time.
Pardon?
Yeah, but
He's
that's
a-
full-time.
Right here, yeah, full-time.
7 months out of the year, is that considered
It has
full-time?
to be a full-time adult resident.
Yeah, but John's questioning is,
If it's needed.
it will need to be defined.
And I can just add a line, full-time resident, meaning someone that,
Could you do that?
oh yeah, I can put a definition of full-time and
Why
then,
don't you do that, and then we can skip sending it to John?
Well, I still gotta send it to John, but yeah.
We talked about primary residence, but that really doesn't make you a full-time.
That's
No,
true.
we almost need to say at least 10 months out of the year or something.
is that, I mean, I can put that in if that's what you,
No, I
whatever.
think you stick with your full-time and just put a definition to what full-time.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff was defining that as living in the town of Vernon at least 10 months out of the year.
You know, because full-time could be 7 months, that's more than half a year.
Yeah, if you list that in
That allows
there,
for vacations.
then we still have to send it to John.
Well, you don't have to, but you typically do, and this is
Yeah.
I
Well,
totally
he'll-
rewrote this.
He'll have,
It's not a little change.
he'll have a conniption fit if we don't. Yeah,
I'll go on then.
huh?
Yeah, define full-time as at least
Yeah.
10 months out of the year.
Yeah,
You know,
Yep.
10's arbitrary, but it's fine.
So is that your motion to add that verbiage and then send it on to the town attorney?
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Did you make that, Eddie?
Well, I didn't make it, that's why I was running through.
I made it.
Ask for someone to
Can't
read the
get me
motion.
on that one.
Did you want me to read the motion that somebody would like to make?
Would you, and I'll say yes, how's that?
The motion is to authorize the town clerk to define the word full-time in the ordinance and forward on to John Macy for legal review.
Exactly the way I worded it. Thank you.
And Gary seconded.
I'll second it.
Okay, got it.
Any further discussion? If not,
Thanks for the work on that, Bill.
Yeah.
And Karen.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Karen did the most work on
Oh, Bill.
this. She got a little carried away with everything, but that's okay.
Alright, moving on to ordinance 2018-03, elimination of class 1 notice regarding noxious weeds. Clerk.
And this was a very simple rewrite. All I did is took out the notification in the newspaper, looking at other, maybe about 10 or 12 different ordinances in other municipalities. It's my personal opinion, this one does not need legal review, but I'm not an attorney and I'm not a board member. But I just took out the verbiage, and the state statute does not require any village, city, or town to notice this. It might be a city of the first class, but that's not the town of Vernon. And just so the board knows, we still will post this inside and outside the town hall and in our newsletter, but I don't know how many people would go to the newspaper once a year to say, aha, there's a noxious weed. But you do whatever you want.
So if you guys want to send this on to Attorney Macy, or not, who wants to make your motions?
Minor change, Jeff, you know, I
Well, usually all the ordinance go to them for review before they...
yeah, just one sentence. One
I'll make a motion to accept ordinance number 2018-03, modifying the notice information, and to, because of the minor change, not send that to Macy as well.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Temporary Class B beer and wine retail license for Vernon Evangelical Lutheran Church.
Mr. Chairman, everything is in order. This was on the agenda last time, but I forgot the word wine on the agenda. So the application is fully in order. Everything's been paid. It's all ready for your final approval to approve the temporary Class B beer and liquor retail license for Vernon Evangelical Lutheran Church on National Avenue in the town of Vernon.
I'll make a motion. Do you have any questions or discussion? I'll make a motion to accept the application for temporary Class B license, retail license for the Vernon Evangelical Lutheran Church.
No, when you look at the word, you don't,
I got it.
you can't spit it out, yeah.
Just had to get my tongue out of the way.
Was there a second?
Yeah.
Still good. Got it.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Operator bartender license for Amanda New.
Mr. Chairman, everything's in order. Amanda has successfully taken her class, filled out her application. As you can see, has absolutely no issues related to her background check. I would request that the town of Vernon approve the operator/bartender license for Amanda New.
So moved.
I'll second it. You can.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Okay. Authorize town chairman to sign Cummins credit application.
Mr. Chairman, I respectfully put this on the agenda because of the AP addition to the bills that you're just seeing. We, years ago, had a credit application with Cummins, subsequently that has lapsed, and they could not refund the tax to the individual that purchased, even though he was purchasing it for the town, and they would not be able to remove it. So that's why I would respectfully request that the Town of Vernon Board approve the application and authorize the town chairman to sign the credit application for Cummins Credit. And you can see it is within the parameters of the $3,000 limit for credit applications.
I only have one question. There's Dave or John or whoever goes there, it's different people picking up stuff all the time. Do they all know where the credit cards are and what they have?
This doesn't require a credit card. Dave is the gentleman that goes to pick up these parts because it's all related to the repair of the big trucks.
Okay.
So Dave always goes, but with this line of credit, they won't need a credit
Oh,
card.
it's a line of credit, it's
Yes.
not a card.
No, it's a line of credit.
Okay.
Supervisor Moline.
So is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion, authorize the town chair to sign the Cummins credit application with a line request of $3,000.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Authorize town chairman to sign contract for the 2018 Town of Vernon Road Program.
Mr. Chairman, the contracts have come into the town of Vernon. All the bonds, certificate of insurance, credit applications, everything is in perfect order in regards to the road program. The only thing the board should do in their motion is there is an additional 200 feet that initially was, the understanding was in the village of Big Bend. It is not, it's in the town of Vernon. So if the town board chooses to authorize the town chairman to sign the 2018 Town of Vernon Road Program, they would also add an additional $13,000 to complete the overlay and pulverizing.
I, reading the email you sent out late today was from Fourth, I believe, and from the contractor. And he said that 13 would have to be looked at because that wasn't part of the original bid. So he wouldn't guarantee the 13, but it's gonna be close enough. We got extra money in there. Do you remember how much extra we had?
They estimated 13, no I don't, but even if it goes over, they're under budget to begin with in the road program. And also wanted to remind the board, there's probably an additional $100,000 of revenue that you didn't budget for that you will be getting in this budget. So the line item related to the road program, even if you have to do a budget amendment, you will have the funds to do that. Not only, I'm not even talking your contingency, I'm talking about unbudgeted revenue that you will have coming in this year.
Okay. Got it.
So is there a motion?
I will then make a motion, authorize the town chair to sign a contract for 2018 road program
With the additional,
with the additional 200 feet at approximately 13,000.
I'll second it.
any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. On the correspondence, announcements, and reports. One thing I have is like to remind everybody the deadline for softball and baseball registration is April 2nd. It's coming up quick. Get your registrations in.
Do you know how the cash flow is going with those folks, with all the right bills we just got from McGonigal?
Yeah.
Any idea where we stand?
You will see that next month, Supervisor Moline. All the bills are in, the bills are now all in, and the revenues, you're still gonna see that they did.
Sign up covered,
They
whatever.
still made money, yes. And I
All that care.
I just did want to tell you that Mike Zolecki is reviewing that. He was not very pleased with the amount that we're paying in because he feels if we weren't in that program, McGuanago wouldn't have a good program either. So he's going to talk to Toby to
Good.
see so he is investigating it also.
All right, good.
Gary?
No, the only thing I have is, Karen, a reminder to myself and to you that there will probably be a public health and safety meeting this month, at the fourth Monday of the month. There's a couple items that have come up for discussion, not from board interest, but from the committee itself. Okay?
Got it.
That's all I got. Other than I'm gonna send a letter to Quick Trip about the dangerous situation coming out of that dam. Ooh, I almost got hit tonight.
Gary, if you need help with that letter, I'd be happy to assist.
Yeah.
And also, you should copy that to the Village of Big Bend
I'm going to.
and Waukesha County.
That's about the third time. Tonight was the closest I came. My heart stopped. The guy just about got that close to me before I noticed that I seen him coming, but I thought he was gonna stop. Coming right out of there, never even looked up Big Bend Road to see me.
I wonder what's gonna get done though. You know, you and I, when we went to that,
man.
the cop was sitting right there and cars are going right through it and he didn't do a thing.
Well, that was the closest I've
So
come
now, they'll sit out and take it on the road.
No kidding.
Somebody's gonna get hurt there one of these days.
Yeah, they are.
And it's gonna be
He was
a crying
watching
shame.
what's going on and did nothing about it.
No.
We were there,
we were
purpose
standing
of
there.
identifying who owned it and can we do
Well,
something with it.
Anyway, that's, I just,
Yeah.
okay.
Got it, Gary.
Okay, I'll work with you, send a couple of letters out.
Supervisor 3?
I have nothing at this point in time.
John?
No, I just have a question regarding health and safety. I know Gary you brought, and I guess we can't discuss this now, but I wonder if we should have it on the next agenda. An individual who's not a full-time resident, correct? Is that still a problem for health and safety?
No, he
Or has that
doesn't.
been resolved?
He doesn't come.
Doesn't come.
Oh.
Haven't heard from him. Karen sent him letters and everything.
2 letters.
Hasn't had any
Okay.
indication.
So I have.
Madam Clerk?
So,
The only thing I have is absentee voting is now happening in the clerk's office. Want to remind everyone that Easter vacation is right during the election on April 3rd. So if you're voting in the clerk's office, if my times are not convenient, please call me or email me and I'll make an appointment, meet you in the evening, on the weekend, just so that you can vote. The other thing, tomorrow I'm going to start, meeting with the DNR and I'm going to start writing the MS4 permitting process for the town of Vernon. So I probably won't be here because I need to get away to write that. But the only thing I wanted to ask the board is there any way you'd be able to do, you have to approve the report after I write it. So my question is, would you be willing to have a board meeting, just a short board meeting, on the 26th, 27th, or 28th of March?
I'll be going.
You'll be gone?
yeah, he's gonna desert us.
20th of March. Out
Well, I won't have it done by
2
then.
weeks.
I can be available any night that you
Tom
want.
will be back by then, so if
Tom
I'm the
will be
only
back.
one.
I might be gone the 26th, I'd be here the 27th.
And I do it in the day, in the evening, whatever works for you guys. I just need,
During the day, it's fine.
Whatever.
okay. And that's all, and I just wanted to let you know that invasive species forum, all those things that you're seeing coming through on emails, the public hearing in McGuanago, just so you know, anything that we get, we put on the website. So that's the best we can do for public communication and awareness. So we just remind the residents to please watch the website for all the updates from the county, the state, and other communities.
Yeah, for public notification, what's required, do we not have to post that in the paper? well?
For,
Any requirement for a public notice for a meeting of whatever?
it depends on what the issue is. For plan commission, there's class 1s or class 2s. For elections, there's different, but those, if it's required by law, then absolutely, yes, it goes in the newspaper.
Okay, so you have to look each one. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Chief, you have any report?
We gave it earlier.
Okay. Moving on to finances, accounts payable dated March 15th.
Well, I had questions, and Karen submitted the questions to the fire chief, and he responded, and I appreciate the answers, and I appreciate Karen sitting down with me and going through some of my concerns, so, I got my questions resolved.
Look at Bill. Bill, you have questions?
I have to confess, I did not get all the way through this.
Don't worry about it.
We poured through it
These
diligently.
experts over here,
Yeah.
I know, I asked them a couple of questions too, and they had it all figured out, so.
I don't know where this week went to, but it's going.
Karen was very generous with her time. She spent
Yeah.
over an hour with me, and then Gary came in and did it very good, so.
Oh, that's, like I said, happy to do it, guys.
All right, is there a motion to approve the APs?
I make a motion to approve the AP, oops, now I forgot what the total is, so, in the amount of $88,683.75.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
I'll
Opposed?
abstain.
One abstention. Abstention. There are no manual checks, correct, Karen?
That is correct, sir.
All right, February ACH transactions.
The only question I have is, and it's directed towards the clerk, we're receiving, NSF checks. Have we gotten that money back, these not sufficient fund checks?
You know what I'll do, Supervisor Wildy, I will do a report because we started seeing them in the December and January. Ed picked up on 3 and you saw another one. What I'll do is a report to the treasurer to see if she's collected. I haven't seen that, but what I'll do is I'll do a delineation in an email of what the NSF checks were for and
I'd be
who
curious.
caused
Sure,
them.
reflecting the
Right.
fee.
Yeah, to make sure we get our money.
Right.
You know, or that we don't get stuck with a bunch of fees.
There's also fees designated on that. Do we pay a normal fee for using ACH? through the
ACH,
bank?
yeah, that's always your payroll.
But there were several of them that time, I thought.
Yeah, there's there's at least, there's 2 for payroll and then there's one big one. So there's
All right, that makes
every
sense.
month, every 3.
Yeah, I'd appreciate it if you could.
I'll do a
send an
report.
inquiry to her.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is it necessary for payroll, we just get the, instead of just the total amount, you know?
I just
so
want-
it's in the paper?
No, I just wanted, so you can, the reason I put it in that way is you can actually see the bottom line of the payroll. And I always want you to, when I always put this out, you know, for you guys, this is the detailed APs.
Right.
But behind the detailed APs is the actual person's name with the amount. I didn't want to put that, because that e-packet is public. I mean, these
Yeah,
are all
just
public
thinking of-
records,
Yeah.
but just so you know, if you ever want to peek at that, I always put this, you can see that.
I just thought total amount in payroll versus
Right.
4 blank pages of just amounts.
And I'd be happy to do that too, Jeff, you know, because you don't care about each entry, do you?
No, without a name associated
Right.
with it, it really doesn't mean
Do you
anything.
mind when I do the ACH, what Jeff's asking for, instead of doing 4 pages of the blank, if I can just do an entry out of ACS to
What
show
the
you?
total amount is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of this is, you know.
Yeah.
Redundant, yeah.
But I also like to put the bank statement in when you're
Yeah.
looking at the ACH, so you can see, so you're actually
correspond.
seeing the entries.
Yeah.
There's a balancing.
Some nights when when I'm having trouble sleeping, I just take this and kind of
I got to change
work
glasses.
put myself.
Are we ready for a motion on the ACH?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to accept the ACH, approve the ACH in the amount of 105,633.08.
For a second.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. The February 2018 financial statements.
Are we on track pretty much, Karen?
Mm-hmm,
That was only a couple months into it.
Yeah,
right.
nothing's out of line, really too bad. burning permits are up 48% income.
Wait till you see the franchise fees.
The who issue?
Wait till you see the franchise fees. You can budget anything for
Oh,
those. and
yeah.
That'll be big this year.
Motion on
No.
We're already 29 grand ahead.
the, right, moving on to the approval of town board minutes from March 1st.
I read them, I'll approve them. Make a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting of March 1st.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I'll abstain. 'cause I
That's two in a
wasn't
row,
present.
by the way, no mistakes.
Hey, thanks Eddie. I'm sorry, Jeff, you abstained?
Yes.
Okay.
Next meeting date is April 5th. Are there any public comments? Hearing none. Need a motion to go into closed session, consideration of possible action on a motion to convene into executive session under Wisconsin statute 19.85, parentheses 1, sub D, to consider strategies for crime detection or prevention for the town of Vernon facilities, including closed session with the town of Vernon supervisors, Vernon fire chiefs, and town clerk. Motion require a roll call vote. I'll make the motion to go into closed session.
I'll second it.
It's a roll call vote.
Oh.
Acting Chair Jeff Millies,
Yes.
Supervisor Gary Wiley,
Yes.
Supervisor Ed Moline,
Yes.
Supervisor Bill Craig.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, note for the record that you have an unanimous consent to go into closed session. I'd also note for the record.
All right. We'll take a